And now let's look at the fundamentals. And here we see, okay, let's just look here at CoinMarketCap, just what is the size of the market of crypto, or in that case for Bitcoin specifically. Now it's 740, billion US dollars, okay? So 740 billion sounds like a lot. Now let's look to compare it at some of the biggest companies, public equities, in this case Apple, US stock, and they have 2 trillion, so this means 2,558 billion. So 2,500 billion compared to 740 billion. So we still have a big difference here of 2,500 divided by 74. So it's basically a 3 times difference of just the valuation of one company. Of course, one of the biggest, but it's still one company. And crypto, especially Bitcoin, I think is a bigger idea. You know, it's a monetary network, it's a digital store of value, and I would assume that more capital can flow in that, and that the market is much bigger than one single company. Now, if you look at the fundamentals of crypto or Bitcoin, then I think there are 2 questions you need to be asking yourself always when investing, not only crypto, but generally speaking, you can apply this in any asset class. So the first question is, do you buy an asset that is high quality? And you don't want to be buying assets that are low quality. So in the case of crypto, there are maybe 10,000 or even more different coins. Now ask yourself, are all of them high quality? The answer is no. Only a few of them are high quality. So, and that is what you should be buying, not the trash specifically. This is the first question. And in the case of Bitcoin or crypto, we can look at quality. And the question you need to be asking, what is it in the first place? What does it do? What is Bitcoin? Is it useful to people? And does it provide economic value? Yes or no? And if the answer is yes, then we can assess, okay, there is quality to this asset. Now in the case of Bitcoin, it's a monetary network. People are choosing Bitcoin to store their cash, their purchasing power in a digital form in Bitcoin. And they're doing that, of course, because of the money printing. You know, that is why Bitcoin is in existence in the first place. And we also know that the supply of Bitcoin is limited, 21 million or even less. And the demand side, if we look at the demand side, you know, this is going up because it's still a relatively small asset. People are wanting it. There's a lot of economic activity, companies building in it, talent attracted, capital attracted, and there's a growth rate. And because it's growing, it not only protects your purchasing power, but it even grows it. So I think it's a very good asset to invest high quality. Of course, Bitcoin we're speaking about, not all coins. And if we look now at this graph here from Global Macro Investor, we see here the internet users over time, and this is the white line. And you can see here from 92 to 2006 was basically the total global internet users, rapid rise of the users. And the more users, the more valuable the network, the more economic activity, the more profitable your investments in that sector will be. Now, if we look at the crypto users, we have here a high correlation and a very, very strong growth rate of the users. And you can value, of course, the network of Bitcoin in a large part because of the number of users going up. The network becomes more valuable, more users are using it, and so on. This is not all of the valuation, this is just one part, but still a very, very important part. And the questions you can ask yourself here is this trend just going to collapse from today to tomorrow, or is this going to upward? It's like a train running, you know, can you stop that so easily if it's already running pretty fast? Probably not, you know. So look at the big picture here, the long-term trend. And if you get the long-term trend right, you will make a lot of money. And short-term, of course, with all the factors, the Fed raising rates, reducing purchases and so on, this is a negative. It's clear, you know. So that there is risk, but the risk is, in my opinion, short-term or medium-term, but long-term. think the picture, the fundamentals is still very positive. So I think the asset class is still small. I think it's high quality, it's useful, provides economic value. We see a big growth trend here in the number of users. So overall, I would say the fundamentals are rock solid for the next years, and the price is still 40% off. For me, this sounds like a discount. Does not mean it can go down to minus 50% or something like this. The scenarios we mapped out, even worst case scenario of 85% drawdown is possible. You need to be prepared for that as well, but I think unlikely. And I think always, like I said, stay calm and collected. This is very important. So question number one was, is this a high quality asset? The investors need to be asking yourself. In this case, I would assume it's a yes. So for me, it's a clear yes. You need to make your own decision about this. So when it's high quality, the question is it below is the price below the intrinsic value? Yes or no? And I think we assess that as well. So as an investor, you always have this value thought, you always, what you're buying should be cheap compared to what the true value is, the true potential. So if you're buying a high quality ribeye steak, and you get it for a relatively cheap price, let's say a big piece of steak for, I don't know, $6, $7, $8, $10, then of course it's a good decision to buy this. It's the same for all assets, for crypto as well. It's not more complicated than that, but of course to value the potential, this is of course complicated, and there all of the work comes in. And that's why I always say, if you buy something, research a little bit about it. Even if it's a couple of hours, you will understand the asset better and assess, is it high quality, yes or no? If it's no, don't buy it in the first place. If it's yes, it's potentially a buy. But the second question is always about the valuation. And this is the Warren Buffett principle, or every principle every investor is using. It's universal. And look at the price, then look at the value. You need to assess the value. In this case, or the Bitcoin, we said, okay, the price is the market cap, and market cap is nothing else than the price. So price per Bitcoin times the number of Bitcoin is the market cap. That's just the aggregated value, the current market price. And is this low, the price we pay today compared to the value we get? The value we get, we see in this nice chart, the crypto use is going up. People are using it, more capital pouring in. The value is going up, and the future value is expected to be high, I think. And that's why I think you still, compared to the potential, compared to the value, price is below it. And even if it's 40% down, the price of 50%, in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter. So to summarize, I think the fundamentals of crypto and Bitcoin are still very strong. High growth rate, still undervalued, potential is there. So I see tremendous potential. Price is down, yes. There's some fear, yes. But good investors are not selling great assets because they're down 40%, They're just holding, buying more, and at the end of the day, bank account is going up. This is what they're doing. And I would urge you to think the same way, not what shall I buy now? Should I sell everything and going into panic mode? This is not the way to go. The way to go is stay calm, stay collected, assess the situation, plan out some scenarios, what can happen, what has happened historically. We talked about the analogs technique, and then make your decision. Are you comfortable with it to hold it? And even if you're very uncomfortable, then sell a little bit, something like this. But I think the good investors are holding and even buying. And I think the no-brainer decision is always do nothing. And you can only do that if the asset is high quality and if your thesis is intact. Thesis is this will provide much more value in the future than it's priced in today. And if all of this is true, then it's fine to hold, in my opinion. If this is not true, then of course the thesis can change. And if the asset is not high quality and if you come to that conclusion, of course, sell it off. But in this case, I think although we have fear, although we have panic, although we have all this uncertainty in the world, good investors, that's why I say long-term, no leverage and all that stuff, because it will help you stick with great assets for a long time, and this will really, really help grow your wealth.